Hello and welcome back to NIOS Decoded. Today we're covering English 301, Chapter 4, Bholi. Whether you're studying for your NIOS board exam or just getting started, you're in the right place. Let's decode this together.
And if you haven't already, join our free Telegram community at t.me/NIOS Decoded for free notes and doubt help.
Okay, let's go. All right, so here is our game plan for today. We'll be walking through the chapter overview, Bholi's early struggles, the incredible power of education, her big wedding day rebellion, and we'll wrap up with an exam corner covering grammar and a quick recap. Let's dive right in.
Starting right off with Section 1, Chapter Overview, and why this story, Bholi, actually matters. At its heart, this is a really poignant story about a girl named Suleika, but everyone just calls her Bholi, which means the simpleton. And to really understand Bholi, we have to look back at her early childhood because she had a pretty rough start. Imagine this. When she was just 10 months old, she fell off a cot. This head injury damaged a part of her brain, leaving her as what they called a backward child who spoke with a really heavy stammer. Then, at 2 years old, she caught severe smallpox, which left her body completely disfigured by pockmarks. Fast forward to when she's 7, the local Tahsildar, basically a government revenue officer, orders her father, who's the village representative, to send his daughters to the brand new girls' school.
Wait a second, if a literal government official is ordering them to do it, and, going to school is obviously a good thing, why didn't her mother want her to go? Shouldn't a mother want education for her own daughter?
You would think so, right? But that's a great question, and it brings us face to face with the harsh reality of their society back then. Her mother actively opposed educating girls. She genuinely believed that if girls went to school, nobody would marry them. She literally only agreed to send Bholi because she figured Bholi was already a lost cause anyway. Just listen to this quote from her mother. "What will that witless one say? She is like a dumb cow." In their traditional mindset, girls were valued almost entirely for their looks and their marriageability. So Bholi was basically seen as a burden because she lacked conventional beauty and they didn't think she was smart. Which brings us to Section 2, the power of education.
So when Bholi's father literally drags her to school, she is absolutely terrified. She actually thinks she's being sold off like their old cow. But the transformation we see in her is just incredible. Let's compare before and after. Before school, she's this frightened girl who stammers heavily, wearing unwashed, shrunk hand-me-downs from her sisters. But at school, it's a whole different world. She meets a teacher whose voice is incredibly soft and soothing. Unlike everyone else, this teacher doesn't laugh at her. Instead, she encourages Bholi, gives her a beautiful, colorful picture book, and promises her that one day people will actually listen to her with respect. And for the very first time, Bholi's heart throbs with this totally new hope.
Oh, that is so sweet. I love that teacher. So, as the years pass and Bholi grows up and learns to read, does the village change too? Like, does the society actually get better?
Well, physically, yes, the village definitely modernizes over the years. The little primary school turns into a high school, they get a cinema under a tin shed, a cotton ginning mill is built, and the mail train even starts stopping at their local railway station. But, and here is the critical part you absolutely need to remember for your exams, while the town modernized physically, the parents' mindset didn't change one bit. They still viewed Bholi as a burden. In fact, without even asking for her consent, they arrange her marriage to a man named Bishambhar Nath. He's a wealthy grocer from another village, sure, but he's as old as Bholi's father, he limps, and he already has grown children from a previous marriage.
And that sets the stage for Section 3, the Wedding Day Rebellion.
Okay, this has to be the climax of the chapter, right? Where everything she learned about her own self-worth is put to the test. So what exactly happens at the wedding? Why does the groom suddenly demand extra money?
It's super intense. Everything literally falls apart at the very last moment. Bishambhar shows up with this grand procession, brass bands, a decorated horse, the whole shebang. But right as he's about to place the garland around Bholi's neck, a woman slips back Bholi's silken veil. Bishambhar takes one quick look, sees her pockmarks, and stops dead in his tracks. Right then and there, he holds the garland up in the air and flat out refuses to marry her unless her father, Ramlal, gives him a dowry of 5,000 rupees. Ramlal is completely devastated. He literally takes off his turban, which is the ultimate symbol of his izzat, or honor, and places it right at the greedy groom's feet, just begging him not to humiliate the family. But Bishambhar is ruthless. He won't budge until he gets the cash.
But here is the amazing part. Bholi is no longer that frightened little child. With a lightning-fast motion, she grabs the wedding garland and throws it straight into the sacred fire. She throws away her veil and looks right at Bishambhar with total, cold contempt. And then she speaks.
In a clear, loud voice, without a single stammer, she says, "I will not have such a mean, greedy, and contemptible coward as my husband." She tells her family that, look, she was willing to marry an old, lame man just to protect their Izzat, but she absolutely refuses to be sold to someone so heartless. In that one moment, she completely shatters that dumb cow stereotype right in front of the entire village.
All right, let's shift gears to Section 4, Exam Corner and Grammar.
Okay, perfect. My notebook is open and my pen is ready. What is the #1 question they usually ask about this chapter in the NIOS board exams? I'm guessing it's about why she refused to marry him?
You hit the nail on the head. Why did Bholi refuse to marry Bishamber is a massive top-tier exam question. So here is your model answer to score full marks on this. First, you need to state that Bishamber demanded a 5,000 rupee dowry after seeing her pockmarks. Second, point out that he deeply humiliated her father, Ramlal, by making him place his turban at his feet. Third, explain that Bishamber showed extreme greed and just a total lack of compassion. And finally, conclude by saying that thanks to her education, Bholi realized her own self-worth and refused to settle for a contemptible coward. Get those 4 points down and you are absolutely golden.
Got it. Wrote all that down. Now, what about the grammar section at the end of the chapter? I always kind of get confused with the tenses. How exactly do we use the past perfect tense here?
Don't worry, it's actually much easier than it looks. The grammar focus here is just distinguishing between past tenses. So, present perfect is for past actions connected to the present. Simple past is for completed actions, but the tricky one is past perfect. We use past perfect when we're talking about an action that was completed before another past action. Think of it like saying in Hindi, "Mere aane se pehle usne khana kha liya tha." He had eaten before I arrived. First, the eating happened, right? So we use had eaten. In our chapter, we have the example, she was given a dress her sister had discarded. First, the sister discarded the dress. That happens earliest, so it gets had discarded. Later, Bholi was given it.
Let's look at one more story-specific example to lock this in. Bholi decided not to marry Bishamber after he had demanded extra money. Do you see the order of events there? First, he demanded the money. That happened earliest, so it gets the past perfect tense, had demanded. Second, Bholi made her choice. That happened next, so it just gets the simple past tense, decided. Just remember, past perfect is always for the action that happened first.
Okay, almost done. Let's move to Section 5. Quick recap.
Let's run through your 5 must-remember takeaways. Number 1, childhood trauma and illness caused Bholi's marginalization in her own family.
Number 2, a kind, supportive teacher and the promise of education sparked her amazing transformation.
Number 3, the rural society valued superficial izzat and dowry way more than a girl's feelings or her future.
Number 4, Bholi's wedding day rebellion represents her huge triumph of self-worth. She finally sheds that dumb cow label forever.
And number 5, for grammar, we use the past perfect tense to describe an action that was completed before another past action took place.
That's NIOS Decoded for today. Share this with a fellow NIOS student. Subscribe, join Telegram at t.me/NIOS Decoded, and remember, you've got this.